If you're an overthinker, you may not realize that overthinking is keeping you stuck in a cycle of self-sabotage, self-loathing, and it keeps you from leveling up. You may be looking around on social media, talking to friends and family, and you see all of these other people doing things that you really want to do, doing things that you feel like, oh, gosh, I wish I could do that too, but I can't because of X, Y, and Z. And that's when the comparisons start. And that's when you begin questioning yourself and thinking, what is wrong with me that I can't do these things that everybody else is doing? The people that I see who are living the type of life that I wish, and I hate to admit to myself that that's what I really want. And if you clicked on this video, I'm guessing that you recognize that you are overthinking, but you may not necessarily realize how overthinking is keeping you from leveling up. So in this video, let's talk about it. You know you are meant for amazing things. You know you're meant for more than your current life circumstance. So let's talk about one of the patterns that you're in, overthinking, that is keeping you from where you want to be. Hey, I'm Dr. Shanice Jones-Cameron, and I am a time alignment coach who helps career-driven moms stress less and actually enjoy their lives. So let's talk about how overthinking keeps you from leveling up. So I want to tell a quick story about me and overthinking. So years ago when I was in graduate school, one of my colleagues who is a senior scholar asked me to co-author a paper. So this particular colleague has written multiple books, published multiple articles, and at the time I was a graduate student who had only published one paper, and it was a single author paper, meaning I wasn't working with anyone else. I just wrote this paper and published it. So of course I immediately started overthinking and feeling really intimidated by the process. Like, oh, I'm only a graduate student. How am I going to co-author and lead this project? I haven't even finished my coursework. How am I going to be the person that is moving this project forward and leading someone who has done all of these things? So I was really doing a lot. So when I talked to my doctoral advisor, I was telling her like, hey girl, I've never co-authored anything, as you know. I'm really nervous. I'm really intimidated. I don't know what to do. I'm but a graduate student. So please help me out. And of course I'm paraphrasing. So she ended up saying like, just remember, what are you doing? You are writing a paper. And what goes into a paper? And that's when I was just like, oh yeah, like I am doing all of this overthinking. I'm literally sitting here freaking out, dragging myself about all the reasons why I cannot do this, instead of actually really thinking about what this is, which was writing a paper. And I've had only published one paper at that time, but I know what goes into a paper because I've written a million of them. You need an introduction, you need to talk about your contribution, you need to talk about why it's important, you need a method section, etc., etc. And so her telling me that really helped me reel my overthinking back in a bit, even though I was still struggling with it. But it really helped ground me to where I was just like, okay, I'm overthinking all of these pieces. I know how to do this. And the things that I don't know, I can learn. So I went ahead and my colleague and I, we co-authored the paper. And when I tell you this was a really challenging process, we went through about 3 or 4 rounds of revisions. So when you are a scholar, you send your work out, other experts, professors look at it and say, this is what's wrong with it, we should publish it, we should not publish it, the journal, and you kind of go from there. But when I tell you those reviewers ate us up several times, like it was a very tough process. Multiple rounds of revisions. I had to go back to theory textbooks, feeling even more intimidated and ill-equipped for this process. So it was really challenging. But by the end of it, we ended up publishing that article in a top journal. And even though I didn't have the skills initially or I didn't know that I had the skills initially to be a first author and co-author a piece with someone, fast forward to several years later, I'm now currently co-authoring 2 additional projects where I'm first author. So what I want to point out with that is that if I hadn't decided to press forward, if I hadn't got a handle on my overthinking, I would have missed out on all the lessons and the skills that have brought me to this point in my career to where I'm now leading 2 additional projects. So what can we take from this story, and what does this have to do with overthinking and you being stuck in a cycle of overthinking that is keeping you from leveling? So one of the reasons that overthinking keeps you stuck in a cycle of self-sabotage and not leveling up is the fact that when you are overthinking, that is your brain's way of trying to keep you safe. Our brains like patterns, our brains like things that are familiar, and if you are trying to venture outside of what you are used to, that is going to come with fear, that is going to come with pain, that is going to come with frustration. And so overthinking keeps you in the cycle of thinking and not actually doing. And because of that, you're in the cycle, overthinking every little small detail. It keeps you from having to actually do something. It keeps you from actually having to figure out whatever it is that makes you feel like you are incapable. And what I found, the stuff that we're overthinking usually ain't all that. Like, it is things that if we took a step back and really looked at it from like a logical perspective, we would realize like, okay, this may be new, but I can do this. But if you're not in a position where you're used to like really exercising that self-awareness, it could be really difficult to realize that this is actually what you're doing. Overthinking, your brain trying to keep you safe, not making any progress, rinse and repeat. So another reason why overthinking can keep you from leveling up is because overthinking feeds a cycle of self-loathing. The interesting thing about all of this is that overthinking kills your confidence because the way that you build confidence is that you learn by doing. But overthinking, of course, as I just mentioned, keeps you from doing, and it keeps you up in your head. You're overthinking every little detail, so that means you're not taking the action and doing the thing that you said you were going to do. And so all that does is reinforce the fact that you are incapable and you cannot finish things and follow through. Overthinking tricks you into thinking that you are just someone who lacks discipline, you are someone who has an inability to complete things that you say that you're going to complete. And so this is how overthinking continues to keep you stuck and keeps you from leveling up. Because let's be real, overthinking keeps things hypothetical, it keeps things abstract, and it keeps things safe. We're so focused on analyzing what we could do and trying to make sure that we're taking the exact action that we need to take, and we want to make sure that this aligns with someone else's framework, that it keeps us from listening to ourselves. It keeps us from feeling the discomfort that is actually going to move us forward and actually make a real difference in our lives. And the thing is, even if we were to take action from this place of overthinking, we're still not going to perform to our expectations, because it's very difficult to move forward and carry out something with all of these negative thoughts swirling around in your head. That's why if you are trying to overcome overthinking, you need some type of process, some type of system to help you move forward in spite of all the junk that's going on in your mind. That's why as a time alignment coach, one of the things that I have my clients do that is so monumental and transformative is I have them take a step back and exercise a self-awareness to look at what's actually happening when they're doing this overthinking. If you are trying to overcome overthinking, you need some type of process, some type of system to help you move forward in spite of all the junk that's going on in your mind. Because overthinking certain tasks is coming from somewhere. It's coming from some insecurity, some fear that needs to be attended to before, or at least during, the process of you trying to take action and carry out whatever you're trying to carry out. And with my clients, as soon as they're able to see their overthinking in action, actually look at how their feelings and thoughts around certain tasks are keeping them stuck, that is where the light bulb moment comes on. And it is truly setting the groundwork for them to transform their entire lives. And if you're someone who can relate to this and you're an overthinker and you can use some support surrounding this, I encourage you to book a realignment session with me. The link is in the description box. This is where we talk one-on-one and I can help you kind of figure out a path forward despite all of the things that you may be struggling with and overthinking. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I'm Shanice Jones Cameron, aka the Modern Wellness Scholar, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.